Pray continually. Colossians 4:2. Devote yourselves to prayer, being watchful and thankful. Proverbs 15:29. The Lord is far from the wicked.
Hey, Mayor.
Hears the prayers.
Hey, Pastor Asani.
Righteous.
You're going to give it just a little bit more.
Matthew 6.
Run a little behind in that.
But when you pray, go into your room, close the door, and pray to your Father, who is unseen. Then your Father, who sees what is done in secret, will reward you openly.
Let's just cheer water.
Psalms 145:18. The Lord is near to all who call.
Those who are on, if you're able to, share the clip for us, the video.
Truth.
Hey, LaShonda, how you doing?
Hey, everybody.
Be joyful in hope.
You got the prayer scriptures on, so I'm like in a meditation mood.
I'm gonna give it about another minute. We'll start.
Yeah, another minute we'll start.
Mark 11.
Oh, we do apologize, Pastor Asani.
Therefore, I tell you, whatever you ask in prayer, believe that
It's a silent eye. I got you. Hey, Apostle Mitchell.
Hey, Apostle Mitchell.
be yours.
We got to bring our A game tonight. You on?
I know, right?
1 John 5.
Maybe we need to stand up and get ready to talk about the personalities.
Have an approaching goal.
Hey,
Hey,
Latoya.
Anything according to his will, he hears us. Romans 12.
At 9:04, we're going to start. 9:04.
Therefore, I urge you, brothers, in the view of God's mercy, to offer your bodies as living sacrifices, holy and pleasing to God. This is your spiritual act of worship. Do not conform any longer to the patterns of this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, his good, pleasing,
Oh, thanks, Pastor
and
Hassan.
perfect will.
Who's that?
He said we his favorite Facebook people.
Woo!
Hopefully we'll be your favorite people when not just on Facebook.
Just Facebook?
Just Facebook.
Wow. Hey, D. Dawson. Hey, everybody. We thank you so much for joining. Yes, ma'am. That's my CD, Apostle Mitchell. That's my CD. Is for everybody who don't know. About a year ago, I think, I created a worship
Almost 2
CD,
years
a
ago.
press CD, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So if any of you guys, if after tonight, if we spark something in you guys, I have a press CD that I created. It's for the people who want to, pretty much if you want to worship, those who like praying with music, or if you just want to sit and allow God to meditate. Just meditate on God, just by some awe-inspiring music that God gave me. And if you want to purchase, just hit me up on Facebook, Thursday Love Inbox, and I'll get you a copy. I thank for the plug, DeWanda. DeWanda said, awesome CD. She said, get one. And I urge you guys to get one because honestly, all jokes aside,
CD.
it will bless your life.
Awesome
It came from a great place, so
Very
it'll bless your
good.
life.
Yes.
Hey, Mr. James, Miss Carolyn. So tonight, everybody, hey Latrava. So just those that are on, if you're able to, hey Trish, if you're able to, please share this video really quick. All right, so tonight, if any of you, those who've seen the post that we did, the flyer on Facebook. Tonight, what we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about something that, even though this is marriage, and maybe those who are not married, we're going to talk about something tonight that is very vital, not just to the marriage, but to the Christian believer, period, at large. Hey, Dorcas. Tonight, we're going to talk about prayer, the intimate secret.
Yes.
All right, I'm going to say that again. Tonight, we're going to talk about prayer, the intimate secret. So people say, well, what is prayer? You know, before we even get to the intimate secret, what is prayer? So many of us have our own definitions or quote unquote of what prayer is, and but I'm just going to give you just some small. Apostle Mitchell, you probably can teach this better than I can, but I'm just going to do it on the little elders level. Hey, Mama, how you doing?
Hey, Mama. Here.
All right. You too, Pastor Hassan, without the I. Gotcha. So, prayer. All right, it's just a solemn request for help. Well, the definition that's given says it's a solemn request for help or expression of thanks addressed to God or an object of worship. So you look at me like I'm saying something good. So which is, some forms of called intercession. Prayer is a conversation, all right, with God and should be made without ceasing. 1 Thessalonians 5:17 says, pray without ceasing. All right. It says, as we grow in our love for Christ, we will naturally desire to talk to him. Prayer is speaking with God, says the Bible. It's in the Bible. Jeremiah 33:3, New King James Version says, call to me and I will answer you and show you great and mighty things which you do not know. Yeah. Hey, I hope I'm saying your name right, Natisha. Hey, Thomas, how you doing, man?
Thomas.
Hey, thank you, Deidre. All right. So, once again, prayer is something that, how I want to put it.
What is prayer to you?
Well, prayer to me is prayer to me. Thank you so much for interviewing me. I appreciate this so much. Thank you. Prayer to me, it's a conversation to God. Prayer is not where I do all the talking. Prayer sometimes is where I do. Sometimes I don't talk at all, because sometimes, especially like at night, God will wake you up and you don't even know why. Half time you half sleep, and sometimes He'll speak and say, yeah, I just want to talk to you. So sometimes prayer, yes, it's supposed to be communication, but, and that's probably one of the issues of why we don't get the answers that we want from God, is because we're so busy talking during prayer time. And sometimes God wants to speak to us. What is your definition?
Well, that's basically what communication is. Okay. Communication is a two-way street. If we ever look up the definition for communication, communication is not only do I relay a message, but I also receive a message. So that's what makes it communication. Not only do I just tell you my side, but I hear from that side. And not only that, I understand it, I receive it, I understand it, I comprehend it, and I break it down so that I may give a response. So sometimes there's no response needed, but that's the way how communication is. It's a two-way street. So that's pretty much what prayer is. It's a two-way street. It's between you and God. And so that's pretty much what tonight is. We're talking about prayer, the intimate secret. And so some of y'all already probably know what prayer is. You probably already know what your definition of prayer is. You have your own opinion of what prayer is and what prayer means to you in your life. But tonight we're just going to talk on some basic things about prayer, because we know prayer is not the most popular thing when it comes to your spiritual walk as well as your marriage ministry. It's just not the most popular thing, but it's the most necessary and the most important. It's something very vital that you need and you cannot do without, whether it be your spiritual walk or your marriage.
Amen. I put out a post a few days ago. I said, let me correct this. I want to make sure I quote it correctly. I said that, let me get prayer. It's like oxygen. Prayer in the marriage. Prayer to the marriage is like oxygen to the brain. Yeah. It gives life. I'm gonna say that. Oh, that sounded good. I'm gonna say it one more time.
This sounded good. You said it right.
Hey, Candace, how you doing? And Latia and John. I'm gonna say it one more time. I says prayer to the marriage is like oxygen to the brain. It gives life. And let me say this. A few years ago, Sherry and I we talked to a married couple, and this may not be for every married couple, But we talked to, or the same situation may not have occurred in every marriage. We talked to a couple a few years ago, and we asked them, we said, how often do y'all pray together? And when we asked them that question, they got this confused look on their face. And so we just looked at one another. We was like, okay. And they said, well, not as often as we should, but, you know, we try to get to from time to time. And we still had this puzzled look on our face. And what am I, well, and the end result is a bad thing, but the end result of that marriage is the marriage ended in divorce. And I'm not saying that, you know, that happens in every marriage, but what I'm saying is, this is just our personal opinion. If your marriage is lacking, if prayer is lacking in your marriage, it's either a couple things are going to happen. Either you're going to have a lot of issues, and then there may be some couples who don't pray at all together, and you know their marriage is just fine. And for those that have those kind of marriages, more power to you. Congratulations. I don't know how you do it, but you got some kind of magic that works. But I know for our marriage has lasted, thank God, for, let me get it right, 12 years, correct?
Yes.
Just to make sure. Our marriage has lasted for 12 years because we have spent time, not just praying to our Father, but we've spent time together. Praying.
And so so tonight, prayer, the intimate secret to your marriage, is a very key and vital thing, like I stated earlier. So the intimate secret, let's talk about prayer, the intimate secret. What did you mean? Because TJ came up with this, and I think it was awesome. The intimate secret. Why is prayer the intimate secret? Well, see,
the Bible talks about the Pharisees and Sadducees, how they pray out loud, and they pray amidst, and they just pray to be heard. But what I realized over my years is, I realized that real prayer warriors, or people who pray for real, you might see them praying, sometimes in church, whatever, but you really don't see the real prayers that go forth because they do those things in secret. And the Bible talks about, says the things that you do, the prayers or whatever that you do in secret, He'll reward you openly.
Matthew 6
and 6. Thank you, ma'am. Matthew 6 and 6.
Yes.
And prayer, prayer is supposed to be intimate. It's supposed to be an intimate communication between you and God. In order to find out what God wants you to do, you have to spend some time in prayer. In order for Him to be able to allow you to see what's going on or find out what's going on within your spouse, you have to spend some time in prayer. Amen. Because what prayer does.
You sound like Apostle Tanya Mitchell.
Nice.
Amen.
Be nice. Because prayer, in prayer, God can reveal stuff. For instance, I'm a prideful person. All right. I'm a very prideful person. I'm a very private person. And sometimes I will try to mask is what I would try to mask things or act like everything is going well. Everything is peachy keen. You know what I'm saying? Trying to keep everything together. But thank God, I have a wife who prays, who she loves to pray. She's an intercessor, true at heart. She spends time in prayer. And sometimes, well, not sometimes, pretty much all the time, God will reveal to her stuff that I don't tell her because I have my smile and I laugh. And those who know, they know I joke around a lot. But it's in her time of prayer where God, in her time of private prayer, actually, that God reveals to her things that I am masking, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? So what am I saying? I'm saying sometimes your spouse won't let you know what's really going on. But in your secret time, go before God concerning your spouse, and I promise you, God will reveal to you those things that they're trying to hide. Because sometimes it's the secret things or the things that we try to hide really that destroys us. Right. But because we're in prayer, God can reveal those things to us. And not necessarily, we won't necessarily go to that spouse to tell that spouse, well, this is what God revealed to me. But we will take that thing into prayer and allow God to work out whatever it is in that spouse that needs to be worked out so they can be the best that they can be.
Yeah. Because even early on in our marriage, as I stated in previous Thursday Loves, I wasn't saved. You know what I'm saying? I didn't grow up in church like that. I went to an occasional Sunday school at an AME Zion church, and every now and again, maybe an Easter or a Christmas service. So church was very foreign to me. So I didn't understand it. I didn't know what it was. So coming into His world, into the church world, the spiritual world, you know what I'm saying? I had to learn a lot of things. And one of the first things I learned was prayer. That was one of the first things that He taught me and He told me about, as well as my pastor and my bishop at that time, you know, that's what they told us about, because that was something we had to do. It was set for 9 o'clock in the morning on Sunday mornings. Yeah. We had to come in prayer, and that's where I found my relationship with God, and I grew to love it. The more I was in tune, the more I wanted it more and more. And, you know, and then not only that, it was like I came home and I prayed, and it was just something that I hungered and thirst for. And so I got to learn a lot about me. I got to see things that I didn't understand. I got to see things in a whole different view. And so not only that, it helped me understand, or help me, should I say, learn how to love you, because I didn't quite understand. Because like I said, TJ and I come from opposite worlds. So it helped me understand him better. Right.
So one of the things that why is prayer to you? Why is prayer so important?
Like you said in your post, it's like the oxygen. It's honestly not just for your marriage, but for yourself. To me, prayer is like oxygen. I can't live without it. I can honestly say that when I'm on a roll praying with God, everything kind of flows. Even when things come against me, I can honestly still have joy and a peace like no other. But when you take those moments, because I'm not sitting here and act like I'm perfect, because I'm not. Because there are times, there are moments that, you know, life is coming to hit you real hard, and you'll stop praying and you'll stop communicating with God. And those times when I stop communicating with God because I'm mad, I'm upset, I'm angry, I'm in my feelings, I'm in my flesh, I end up, it'll be 1 day, and then it'll be 2 days, and then it'll be 3 days. And before you know it, you missed a few days and you ain't prayed in a minute. And then before you know it, you got an attitude. You upset, you easily angered. Like, it's just, things just not going right. You just feel off. You just feel off. And you start to realize that, why do I feel off? Why I'm so upset? Like, literally.
Why am I so short with my spouse? Yeah, why I'm so short with my kids?
Yeah, exactly. Like, nothing sets right. Like, literally, I can't even get up and find the right outfit for the day. Like, I just can't, like, nothing fits. Nothing's right. Nothing.
Find the right outfit.
I can't find the right outfit. I like the shoe. Like, nothing don't work. He can tell me it's beautiful all day.
Brown shoe with a purple shirt.
I'm like, no, you know, and then it just don't fit. So it is. It's like oxygen to me. I feel better, so much better when I'm in God's presence. I feel stronger. I feel like I can conquer whatever is coming my way, and that I'm able to do anything. You know, it's a place that a lot of times I don't want to come out of. If he can tell you in the beginning, when I really was into prayer like that, I didn't like coming out. I had like an attitude when I came out, because I didn't want to come out, because I love being in that place. And I knew when I came out, it was life. And I didn't want to deal with life, because in that place was my bubble. Like you said, it's that intimate secret. It's that secret place. You know, when you go pray, go close the door, shut the door. And that's what I did. I closed the door, I shut it. I locked that muggy. You know, I didn't want nobody in, and I didn't want to come out. And that's how prayer is to me.
I agree with Pastor Hassani. He said prayer produces steadfastness. It produces long suffering, and it produces mercy. And I agree with Sherry. When things are off in your marriage, all right, first thing you need to check before you check your bank account is you need to check, how am I in prayer? How much have I been praying? How much have I been praying for my spouse? How much have I been praying for the situations you know, that's going on? When the enemy is attacking, how much have you been praying? Because a lot of time, the Bible says when the enemy comes like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord will lift up the standard. All right, you got to give the Spirit of the Lord something to lift up, which means that you got to stay in prayer so that heaven can not just fight for you, but fight for your marriage. All right, you will pray. I'll say this. I'll make this statement. You will pray that if your marriage means something to you, or as much as your marriage means to you, will be as much as you pray. If your marriage doesn't mean much to you, you won't pray much. But if your marriage means a lot to you, and you really concerned about your spouse and about the move of God in your life and where God is trying to take you, you're going to spend time in prayer. And it's not even going to be hard to do. Right. It's going to be something that you just desire to do. All right. So prayer is important to me, because, like I said, it gives me the direction. What's wrong? It gives me the direction for my life. It gives me the direction for my family. And anybody that knows me knows that, first of all, I might joke around, I might cut the fool and all that good old stuff. But Sherry can vouch. One thing I will not do is I will not move unless God has given me the okay to move. Why? Because God has deemed me the head of this household. Yes, she helps me a lot. I help her. We help each other.
Right.
But God has deemed me as the head of this household, which means what? If I make the wrong decision because of emotion or out of flesh, the first person that people are going to ask, why did you do something? They're going to ask me. They're not going to go to her. Or if they do go to her, they're going to say, well, why did TJ do this?
Yeah.
So one thing I am so apt about and so steadfast about is before I move, I've got to get direction from God. Why? Because Sherry's life is at stake when I make a decision. My kids' life are at stake when I make a decision. My family's life is at stake when I make a decision. I've had plenty of people tell me, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? And my response sometimes is I don't say nothing. And it's not that I'm ignoring them, or it's not that I'm being, disrespectful. But my response, sometimes the best response you can have is actually to say nothing. Mm-hmm. And if God ain't speaking, you shouldn't be either. If God don't tell you to move, you should move. When God gives you the okay to move, you move. Mm-hmm. Hallelujah. I feel like I'm in church. Praise Him.
Yes, Jesus. But I don't want to discourage the ones that are up here that says, well, I have a spouse that doesn't want to pray. So what happens when we don't have a spouse that don't want to pray? What do we do? Well, then you pray for your spouse until God opens that door. You pray for your spouse's heart, because you can't change your spouse. If you ever go into a marriage thinking you're going to change your spouse, honey, you are in for a treat. You ain't going to change nobody. You can't change nobody. So only God can change people. Only God can condition their heart, soften their heart. Only God can change their thought pattern. So what you do is you pray for them until then. And then not only that, and then it was like, well, me and my husband, maybe you're thinking, well, me and my husband ain't never prayed. So how do we approach this? Initiate. There's nothing wrong. You can ask your spouse, how do you feel about praying? How do you feel about praying today? And honestly, it doesn't have to be these long, drawn-out prayers. It don't have to be an hour, 2 hours, or whatever. Honestly, get with your spouse and say, well, do you mind if we just do a small prayer real quick? It could be a 5-minute prayer. It could be a 10-minute prayer. Well, what if your spouse don't feel comfortable praying? Then you open up the door and just talk to them. You just talk to God and then help them, say, I'm here, encourage them, uplift them, let them know this is our communication to God, because He's going to help us out. Because when it's something about when two agree, when two get two hands together and they touch and agree with one accord, because we're going to talk about that next. You're going to start hitting on it. When two get together and pray. So we're talking about a married couple getting together and pray. You know what I'm saying? So so what has to happen when a married couple gets together and pray? Well,
let me say this statement. Apostle Mitchell made a great statement. She said, the only person you can change is yourself. Mm-hmm. That is a major statement. You're the only person that you can change. And a lot of times why spouses may not want to pray is because they don't see a change in you. All right. I'm saying it again. A lot of times why the spouses may not want to pray is because they don't see a change in you. Right. You are the best spouses. Especially if you're married to an unsaved spouse, because everybody that's on this thing their spouse may not be saved. But let me say this. You are the best example that your spouse will see. Why? Because you're the closest to them. They see you every day. So if you're living an ungodly life and they see you that you're not praying, it's not going to inspire them or motivate them to pray.
Right.
Now, what was the question that you asked?
Yeah, we kind of jumped subjects. I was basically saying, so, you may not have a spouse that want to pray, or if not, I've never prayed with my spouse before. So how do I do that? And I talked about that, but then I came back and I said, well, okay, we're just starting to pray. How do I make them comfortable? And what happens when two people agree together and pray? Well, and first they have to agree.
Yes, if they do, they have to agree. But I always say this too. When you start out praying, don't start out with this, oh God of Zion, oh Holy One of gracious Mount Everest, all of these verbal fillers. God, you don't need all that stuff to pray. It's prayer, really, honestly. It's simple communication. You can start out by saying, some people may do the serenity prayer.
Yeah.
Something just that simple. It doesn't have to be. I forgot to take the thing off. Sorry about that. It doesn't have to be anything major. Mm-hmm. Simply, Lord, thank you for this day. Lord, thank you for our children. Thank you for our household. Yeah. Something as small and as simple as that. And then as you continue, to go along and God begins to come in and bless whatever it is that you're doing, then maybe you can, maybe the prayers are leading to maybe you and your spouse will be praying and worshiping, so to speak. But it doesn't have to be anything major, because what you don't want to do is, and you don't want to make your spouse feel uncomfortable
Right.
doing prayer, which is
Right.
one of the reasons why you shouldn't come in with all these great words, because you don't want your spouse to feel intimidated to pray. Because I've heard a lot of people say, well, I don't pray. I don't pray good out loud.
Yeah.
If you're praying with your spouse,
Yeah.
you got to say something out loud, something audible so they can hear. So
You don't have to scream, but
right.
yeah.
Well, if the Spirit of God hits you, you scream until you can't scream no more. But still, but try to make your spouse feel as comfortable as possible.
Right.
Don't make them, and then don't make them, if they do, grow the courage to pray, don't make them feel like how they're praying is not good enough. Or maybe you should say this, and maybe you should, whatever they say.
It comes from the heart.
Straight from the heart.
It comes from the heart. Your prayers come from your heart. Just like when you date and you come together or whatever, I learned to love my husband for who he is. I don't want him, like, really no filter. I just want him to be him, be the best him he can be. And that's pretty much how God is with us. He just wants you to come to him naked and not ashamed.
Come as you are.
Just come as you are. Don't try to put on a grandstand or whatever. Just say, God, here I am. And that's pretty much how it is when you come together with your spouse. God, here we are. Here we are standing before you. We're just giving you our heart. We're just giving you our thoughts. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing. And when you pray together, you have to agree in the spirit. You can't have one praying for a $10 million house and the other one praying for
You got to do what when you pray?
Pray together in the spirit.
Yes, no, that's right. I just wanted you to say it again.
Oh.
That was a great point. You got to be with one accord. Go ahead.
You got to pray together in the spirit. You cannot. I didn't know what you said. You got to pray together in the spirit. And what I mean by that, I'm not saying you have to go in full-blown tongues, but I'm just saying basically y'all two have to come together in agreement when you're praying. And
what is the goal?
Yeah, make sure that y'all are speaking with one accord in your prayers.
Right.
Basically, it's like you being unequally yoked. If he's talking about a $10 million house and you're sitting there praying, God, just bless us with a two-bedroom house, God. That's all I want. That's just like two separate things. Y'all visions are different. Y'all goals are different. You know what I'm saying? So make sure when y'all praying together that y'all praying the same thing. God is not going to do with one doing one thing and one doing the other. It don't work that way.
I'll give an example. So we got our vehicle a few years back.
Yeah.
Sherry wanted the Acadia. I can't think of it. GMC. She wanted the GMC Acadia. And I wanted a Honda Pilot. Let me tell you how God deals with us. But we both were praying for an SUV.
Yes.
Mind you. So we talk about agreement. So we both were praying for an SUV. But
yes.
I wanted the Pilot. She wanted the Acadia.
Yeah.
So we went to go look at the since we were thinking about purchasing, I went and I said, well, you know what? Well, all this prayer we're doing, we need to go do some action. So I went and I did a quote for the Acadia and I did a quote for the Pilot. So it just so happened right after I did the quote, someone called me from Honda and it was like, well, and I told them what my interest was. They asked me questions. Then right after that, someone called me from Hendricks Chevrolet. And so, mind you, the guy I talked to on the phone was the guy that I actually met when I went to the place. The person I talked to Hendricks was a different person. So make a long story short, when we went to go look at the Acadia first, because I said, God, we both want an SUV. She wants the Acadia. Let's get her what she wants, right? So we go look at the Acadia. We get inside the Acadia.
I wanted blue.
And she wanted blue. So first of all, they didn't have the color she wanted. And then we got inside the Acadia. It was much smaller than what we needed.
Amen.
So then we went to the Honda place, the Honda dealership. And so, mind you, here's how God worked now. We were both praying for SUV.
Right.
All right? She had her what she wanted. But we both were praying for SUV. So we still was one accord with that. Got to the dealership. And when I got to the GMC, it was a completely different person from what I had talked to. That was one sign. All right. When I got to the Honda place, the guy I had talked to, he had a brand new vehicle that I wanted, but we got it in the color that she wanted. So what am I saying? Sometimes your details might be different.
Yeah.
But as long as the main thing is as the main thing is the main thing, God your details can be a little different. But as long as, for instance, you want a house, you want a 5-bedroom house, cool. As long as you get the 5-bedroom house, that's what matters. You might have she might want a sitting room, and you might want we call it a man cave. Doesn't matter. As long as the main thing is the main thing when you're praying. You agree?
Yes. I totally agree.
Really?
Yeah. I totally agree.
Smile again for the camera. Say cheese.
Cheese.
All right. So with that being said, we don't want to. We're gonna try to end it tonight with prayer. We're gonna pick it up again next week.
Yeah.
We thank you for everybody. D. Dawson said, prayer to the marriage is like oxygen. Yes, yeah. Right. It gives life. You're right. Yeah. Anybody that post that, make sure you give me credit. And that's the Lord gave me that.
Lord have mercy. We enjoy y'all. We thank everyone for tuning in for Thursday Love on tonight. We're still going to talk about, we're going to make this we're going to stretch this series out. Is prayer the intimate secret? Tonight we just kind of honed on prayer. We really didn't get into what we said we was going to really talk about tonight. So next week, you sent out a post about strength.
Yeah.
Strength. Prayer of strength.
We're going to start doing some things. And those who check out Thursday Love page, you will see it. We're going to start doing what we call prayer covenants. So in the prayer covenant, some days we'll have, certain things that you can pray about, certain things that you can pray about your spouse and pray with your spouse about. So the one we put out today was, I think today or yesterday. It was the strengths. So just check everybody just check, make sure you check the Thursday Love page. From time to time, we'll share it on my page and on Sherry's page.
Yeah.
All right.
And for those who don't even have a spouse and you're desiring your spouse, the best position to be in to receive your spouse is in a prayer position, because God will prepare that place for you and he will be preparing you while your king is coming. So most definitely just get ready for it. Prayer is truly the intimate secret.
Really is. So we thank everybody for joining. We will see you guys again next Thursday. 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock. Share, tell your friends about it, comment, inboxes, tell us your thoughts, share, all that good stuff.
And please inbox us, y'all. Let us know some of the things that you may want to talk about too.
Yeah, you got any questions?
We asked once before. We didn't get that much participation, but we're asking again.
Yeah, we're asking again.
Because what we're doing is we want to help as many people as possible. The divorce rate is high. We want to try to, make sure that you're not one of the ones that are caught up in the divorce rate. Or even for the ones, that have been divorced next time around when God sends you whoever he's going to send you that time, that your marriage work out. And for the singles, those who are inspired to be married, we help those. So our goal is to help as many people as possible.
Right.
So, like I said, if you got some things you want to talk about, some ideas, even some solutions that you may have to somebody, or from some of those who have been through, difficult circumstances. If you want some testimonies or whatever, some things that, some advice you may want to tell us, we maybe can talk to the people about. So we thank everybody once again for joining tonight.
Also, one more thing before you get to do the prayer CD again. Once again, while we're doing this prayer series, TJ did a prayer CD. It's called A Time to Worship. It is strictly a prayer CD, a worship CD, a meditation CD. He's going to get it real quick so we can show it to you. If you want this CD, you need this CD for your prayer closet. I'm not going to sit here and lie. You need this prayer CD. I know my husband, I boast him up, but I play it all the time. It's one of my ringtones, especially the Serenity one. It's peace for me. And I love it. It's just when you just sitting there reading your word and you got some music in the background. It's an instrumental and a prayer CD for your room, your prayer room. And if you would love to have your copy,
am I right?
No, you in my. If you would love to have your copy, inbox us. We can do it through PayPal. We can do it through the Cash app or whatever. So please get this CD, William T. Bridges III, A Time to Worship. It is a prayer CD for your life. Please get it for your prayer room. Share it to your friends. Tell your friends about it who love the prayer. If you have corporate prayer in your church, this is a CD that would be loved to be played in the background.
Thank you for that plug.
So, yes.
So this is the one closest to me. She can tell the story. She will tell me the truth. So thank you, everybody, for joining tonight. We will see you guys again, or we'll talk to you guys
God
again.
bless you, Bishop Stedman.
Hey.
Jennifer's up here. Everybody. Hey, everybody that we didn't speak to.
Yeah. Hey, Stefan. Hey. So, tell you what, those who catch us while we get ready to go
up. The CD.
Oh, the cost of the CD is $15. But if you get more than one, I can give you a discount. All right. And it's
inboxes. We'll talk to you.
Please, we'll talk to you. But I promise you, from experience and from others, it is money that is well spent. I promise you. It will take your prayer life to a whole nother level. I promise you that. And I'm not saying that just because I did it. I'm telling you that because I've experienced the power of God from it myself.
And it's also on iTunes for 10, right?
No, it's not on iTunes right now.
Okay. Amen. I thought so. Amen.
So, inboxes.
Inboxes.
All right, you guys have a great night. And please share this. Please share this. Hey, this is Jana. Hey, Matthew.
TJ.
Yeah, so please share this. Please share this clip. You guys have a great night.
Amen. Good night.